Welcome to another RES Wave update. So in this update, I'm going to talk about oil. It's been a little while, and that's because the pattern had to be identified properly in order to understand what the deal is here. So there's a lot of people out there who talk about, being right and wrong. Now, there's a lot of people out there who also weren't really believing in cryptos like myself and a lot of other people who have started investing in cryptos. Because changing your mind is actually not a bad thing. So a lot of people tend to think that it is, and I think it's stupid to even think that way. You're limiting yourself in and the possibilities because you can never know everything and you can't be always right. Okay, so for those people out there who like to troll and say, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, that's fine. That's fine. I like being wrong because once I have seen more waves and it gives me more clues, I like to actually identify those waves and then take the appropriate action in my count. So for this one, the long-term count, the bigger picture count, has suggested that the crash last year in April was basically the low for wave two, long-term wave two. So the low has been put in. And what we can expect from here is basically a correction. We've seen wave one, the bounce was wave one, and we broke the end of wave E up the top here at the magenta line. Now, obviously, that's just to illustrate that we've seen the end of a correction. So that's been confirmed, and that's fine. So the pattern that we're seeing here is a B wave bounce. Okay, now this is actually very common across even my new euro idea and my new crypto idea. So it's basically a case of just understanding this pattern in progress. So we saw the first initial move up. Okay, so this initial bounce came back up to this level here. Okay, and then we saw a pullback for wave A. And then it kept going, right? And it created an A wave, which is the next wave in a correction, but it's not the full wave. So we have to see a correction from this point on, and this would basically tell us that, wave B in brackets is complete before we can move for wave C in brackets. Okay, so in terms of this particular move, we've only seen an A, B hasn't finished yet. So the green A and the orange B is still it's almost there, not quite though. So once that completes, I assume wave C will begin, and then we'll see a move down to probably around 50%. That's my opinion. So I think that it's probably best to take care in these particular times. It's a pretty good indication that the first initial move for A in brackets is over. So taking profits here, not a bad idea. I did say to go long around here before changing my view a couple of times, and kind of got confused on that wave, but that's fine. And the reason for that was because this B wave is actually going to be a pretty big one. Okay, so it's not uncommon for this to happen. It's actually happening in the euro, which is obviously the inverse of the US dollar. Now, just a few things before I go to the small degree. So the first thing is wave 3 was the strongest in both of these waves. So you can see that the second 5-wave move is actually looking weaker. So it's actually a very good indication that it is a corrective wave rather than a wave 3 if you think that it's a wave 3, or a 1-2 if you think it's a 1-2. Now, I think that the thing that will throw some people off in this particular one, not so much after this correction ends, even though it's going to basically make a move that's going to be sort of like a bit deeper of a correction compared to the initial bounce after the crash last year, where it didn't even go back down, not even to 0.382%, right? This correction being perhaps a little bit deeper, might throw some people off or not, but it's the move that comes after the next move when it starts moving to the upside that's going to be the one that causes probably a little bit of confusion, because once it does eventually bounce, say for example we take the length of wave A and we extrapolate that to 50%, there will be a C wave which will probably crash back down again. Now where that crashes I don't know, but if it's a C wave, probably going to be pretty deep. Can't comment too much on that one, but I think that will probably throw some people off at that point in time. And then it's just going to be weird. But I think that if we follow this particular guide, of course, after this correction ends, which it's not over yet, so I think that'll be interesting to see how this particular pattern unfolds. I wouldn't be surprised if it does look kind of sharpish, like something like that. But whatever it is, it's going to bounce after when it's done. If the waves look right, according to the RS wave methodology, then I would say no problem for going long. And then we'll get an equal move to the first move, the A wave in brackets. So that'll be interesting when that happens. So no hurry at the moment. It's just probably a short-term pullback in, larger moves to the upside. But then again, it always pays to, get into the trade when the move's beginning, and then obviously take the profits after the second move has happened in a zigzag. But typically you want to look for at least 50% in basically a pullback, and that's fine because it's still around the area of interest according to the RS wave methodology. So even around there, a bit lower, that white dotted line or a bit lower, that's fine. It doesn't. We just have to see. Okay, there's no point in trying to guess that sort of thing, because this part of the correction that's coming can be a little bit, sharp. So it might make people think, I don't know, it might keep going lower or something. Who knows? But the point is that. So let's go to the small degree now and have a look at these waves. Okay, so in here, I can see an A wave and I can see a B wave that's almost done. Now, straight 5-wave moves for the first A in brackets, but then what appears to be an ending diagonal, if you like, a weak 5-wave move for the C wave in brackets. So basically losing a bit of steam there, market moving up in what appears to be 3 waves for each move to the upside. So I do believe there is most likely one more zigzag up in a contracting kind of pattern that will then end this move before we start to see the move lower, probably put in a double top, something around that area, and might even be a good shorting opportunity if the pattern looks complete. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll keep an eye on it. But so hopefully you found this one interesting and informative. Thank you for watching.